Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic for May 30th. It'll be a hop, skip, and a jump, and we'll be into the month of June. Welcome to the show. I am the Cash Man. Let me go through some welcome. Let's see, holidays today. There's just a few: International Jazz Day, Mint Julep Day, and Water of Flower Day. Birthdays today: Jake Roberts is one. Happy birthday, Jake Roberts. And No Way Jose. I don't know if you remember No Way Jose. NXT wrestler, very short lifespan in the WWE. No Way Jose is 38 today. Hey, interested in roller derby? You want to be a skater? Officiate Rock City Roller Derby. Need you contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com and join Rock City Roller Derby men's team Flower City Fair, FLOUR, Flower City Fair. Always looking for more skaters and as well as volunteers. So please check us out today. Let me introduce the cast and crew. I'm your humble host, the Cash Man. I got DC Dan Cole joining me from NC. DC, how goes it?
Good morning, Cash Man.
Good morning. It is a beautiful morning here in Rochester, New York. Very light out, but not supposed to be too warm today. But that's just the regular, I'm guessing. We're also joined by Rob Sanderson, formerly known as the Artiste, but he is Rob Sanderson. You could call him the GCW play-by-play guy, announcer, because that's what was doing last night, and I guess he's doing it tonight too as well. Rob, how are you doing this morning? Maybe he's not quite hooked up yet. He's there.
Let's see if I know how to unmute. Good morning.
There you go. There you go. Wow, what a night last night, huh? GCW?
Yeah, it was a really fun show last night. That was totally last night in France, and
yeah,
I mean it was taped on Saturday. So, yeah, tonight's show is it's called Live in Milan. That's the name of the show. So I have to say that it's live in Milan, but it's also listed on Triller TV Plus as tape delay. So. That was on Sunday, but that'll be tonight.
That's a good idea to give the name to the show live. So they, not that they are worrying about whether it's live or not. I'm sure it was incredible stuff. So you didn't have to be up at in the middle of the night to do this or anything.
Once I turn my camera on, you'll know that I'm not in Europe right now.
That's awesome. How did that come about, man?
What's that?
I said, how'd that come about? I mean, it's like usually they have like a whole group of announcers with GCW.
According to Wikipedia, I'm part of that crew. So
you are.
Yeah, I don't know. Just it works out that way. It is challenging, to be honest, because both nights are solo commentary, which is not my favorite. But last night's show was really, really good. Especially shout out to KJ Orso, the former Fuego del Sol, and Ricky Sosa, who's made a couple of TNA appearances. I believe I heard that TNA is trying to work out his visa. Dude's going to be an absolute star. So that was my match of the night for last night from Bapaume, France. Then tonight is Italy. That's got a lot more action, including the rising star Viperous taking on Shotzi Blackheart, and more. So it was fun. Do these couple shows, it's been cool kind of interacting a little bit with some of the overseas talent that I was not familiar with, but I am now, and some of them I'm a big fan of already after just calling one of their matches. So
that's awesome. That's WWE's over there too now, so it seems like everybody's over in Europe right now.
It's weird how close that was, but not an exact matchup of times. It's kind of ironic, to be honest, because even surprisingly, that was tonight's match is Shotzi's first match in Italy, and she'd gone over there on some of the longer WWE tours. But Italy's just not a country that they have hit very often. So obviously they're there tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow morning
So,
or tomorrow in the afternoon. I think it's at 2 o'clock. I think it
mm.
starts, something like that. But yeah, they, the only, I mean, if you think of memorable things that happened in Italy, everyone kind of remembers maybe Santino Marella debuting, beating Umaga, but you're right. You don't get WWE is definitely not over there a lot, and it's very cool. I think it's awesome that you were the guy, and you're the guy again tonight. So thank you for being here because I worried you were there. It's like, okay, Rob's not going to be on, it's
No, I am here. I'm about to caffeinate myself and ready to talk some professional wrestling.
all right. Let's do it. Well, we got, like we mentioned, we have the Clash in Italy going on tomorrow, but I want to talk about Double or Nothing. Um, Danger Boy and I watched that together, and he came over. It was man, what a great pay-per-view that was. Oh my God, that was it was great on the pre-show, I thought the pre-show was fantastic. So I thought, what a great show. And I mean, everything that happened, I thought that it was, it just and it didn't go forever. It almost did, but it didn't go forever. But it was a very, very, very good um, pay-per-view from AEW. And it's like, if you get a chance to catch the replay, definitely check out the replay because it was a lot of fun. I mean, overall, the whole pay-per-view was a blast. What'd you guys think? What'd you think, Rob, of the Double or Nothing pay-per-view?
Um, I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head with the pre-show part. I thought that was my favorite wrestling pay-per-view pre-show that I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just they were already off to the races, and the crowd, as they were still filing in, was really loud. I mean, of course, you've seen the WWE tribalists being like, "There's nobody in the seats for Mick Foley. It's a sold-out show in New York City. They're getting to their seats. Calm down." But yeah, I mean, overall, on the whole, as they would say for this show, it was one of the best pay-per-views ever. Not just AEW. I think that for me, I like it did not feel long at all. And this is another instance recently where it seems as though, like, on paper or on the clock, it's long, but it seems like I'm in disbelief that there's only one or two matches left or whatever. Like, it really did feel like it was flying by. So I thought it was strong. I wouldn't say that it was like my favorite main event or anything like that. Like, if I was to go back, like, certainly the main event was solid. Um, a little awkward to have Kevin Knight turn heel after that, but put him in a prominent position to do so. But I mean, like you said, the pre-show was really solid, and then I thought the first two matches of the actual pay-per-view, to do that, whatever, we can still just call him Edge and Christian, and
You have an
FTR.
I Quit to start the pay-per-view. My God,
And it was that was a really good match. Obviously, the fans got what they wanted with the finish and everything, but they told a story through that entire match, and I thought it was really good. And then and then going right into what I had said was my main event going into the show, personally, to watch, and Okada and Takeshita,
Yeah.
which delivered, and can't wait to see it yet again. But I mean, they started off strong. I felt bad for who had to follow. I'm trying to remember who was third. Yeah, Athena and Mina in kind of the, like, oh, we're adding you to the pay-per-view match after the Willow injury. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, overall, it may have been the best AEW pay-per-view when you look at the entire thing together. I can't say that, like, any of the matches would stick out as, like, my number one favorite AEW match of all time. But there's some really, really good ones.
Well, I mean,
Undisputed best show of the year though so far.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
You mentioned the Takeshita Okada match, and it was like, I love how they paced the beginning of it, and then they just kind of picked up and picked up and picked up as they were going along. And man, those guys are amazing, and it's like, I'd love to see that again. I know who knows if it'll happen again, but then Takeshita kind of getting kicked out of the group after the match and everything, but it's
which is a little weird to, like, a guy wins a championship, and that's when you choose to kick him out. But
Yeah. Well,
obviously
he
it
also
works for the
stopped
story.
Okada from killing him, right? Wasn't he going to, didn't Don Callis stop him from outside the ring, in the middle of the match? Because he thought he was going to.
I mean, the stuff they did with Don was perfect in that match too. The way he's kind of favoriting one child and everything, but getting involved, getting concerned and stuff. It was really good, and that's one thing I really give AEW credit for is they have found a way to make pay-per-view match number 2 always be very, very good. And that's something that like a lot of people, like if you're booked on an indie show, a lot of people, if there's a match they don't want, it's the second one. You got to follow the hot opener and stuff, and it's not a prime position on the card. It's not first, it's not last.
Yeah.
So like Ricky Bobby wouldn't like it either, but like it's just a very they constantly like put the Bucks in that position, and then they put this match on. When I saw that up on the screen, like coming up next, I was just like, oh, okay. I wasn't ready for it this early, but I guess we're doing this now. And I definitely think their feud's not over. And I look forward to more of it. Both of those guys are so good.
Oh yeah, I think.
And why wouldn't you? I mean, on the right, like, why wouldn't you continue that to All In? That feud itself, like, there are other big star. I mean, obviously, there's a ton you could do with both of those two, but like, that's an ongoing story. There's no reason for it to not be those two again there, or those two in some kind of a tag match against each other, whatever is, get their hands on each other again on an even bigger stage.
Yeah, and I mean, and that happened early in the show, and then we still got Osprey and Joe, which was Moxley and O'Reilly, which was a great follow up to their time limit match.
Or Bandito.
Yeah, Swerve Bandito.
Yeah. That's on my list to go back and watch. Not necessarily because it was like I wouldn't put it as number 1 on the night. But I know that I was working on some other stuff during it, and that's a match I need to like put my phone down and just watch start to finish.
Yeah.
Because I loved what I saw of it.
Yeah, I mean, Tekla, winning in a 4-way, and then the Stadium Stampede, which I'll give them a lot of credit. Apparently, they had a lot of limitations due to the New York State Athletic Commission, and
that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
Shout out to NYSAC. Hey guys.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was gonna say they had some limitations, but they put on a great match. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, let's be honest. I was texting some people during that match as well, being like, so how much did they pay off NYSAC or whatever? Like some of these things that they're getting away with still in the match. Obviously there are things that they weren't doing. The same way that like that Ciampa Briscoe match wasn't on the pay-per-view, was on Dynamite, so it could happen in Maine as opposed to New York. But they still got away with some stuff that you're not supposed to be able to do in the state of New York. So
Shout out to them fighting for figuring that crowd. Out. No. Yeah. Attempted vehicular manslaughter. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to them doing that live though.
I love that. I love the camera shot of the guy in the stadium looking down to the outside of it and watching and showing that as it was happening. I thought it was pre-taped, obviously, and then it's like, no, that happened right in the middle of the match. So
happened live, and the cops showed up, which is it's always great when you can get the actual police showing up thinking that something's real. You've done a good job, I guess.
Yeah, that was that was a fun match. And then of course the main event, the amazing thing is if you look at like all the times on these matches, I think almost the pre-show times probably outdid any of the WWE pay-per-views recently for how much time wrestling was going on, so it was a fun pay-per-view overall. It was a lot of, it was a blast. I liked everything. I mean, Osprey beating Joe, I thought that was, obviously Osprey probably is going on to the Owen Hart Cup finals eventually, I think. But I like kind of like what they did on Dynamite too with Osprey. They showed him after the match where he came back and Kenny Omega was in the back icing up, even though I don't think he worked or anything. But and he told him, he warned him about, associating with John Moxley and his group. I thought it's been a lot of, it was a fun pay-per-view. I think it was probably the best one I've seen, yeah, without a doubt this year. That was,
Are we going to get Kenny Omega versus John Moxley with custody of Will Ospreay on a pole match or something?
I would not mind that at all. I mean, Kenny's limited so many times, so it's like, you know what, definitely I would go for it. But
it seems as though those three are in a story together. I mean, I think there's still, especially after that segment in the trainers room, which, first of all, like, Kenny Omega, such a nice guy as shown, but like the trainers room probably has an additional ice pack. Like, he doesn't have to give up his ice pack to Ospreay, but just shows the kind of man he is. But
well, he wasn't even working that night. So what was the ice
he
pack?
was a Stadium Stampede.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, he was. That's right.
I don't remember any of his spots from it, but I'm sure they were good ones.
I think his best work was in the intro package to Stadium Stampede.
Yeah,
everybody's best work. I mean, that was fun. They had fun with that. Yeah, it's I mean, it brings up the question even more than we had before, in that is Ospreay going to win the title at All In, but who is he going to win it from?
Yeah.
And we knew it wasn't going to be Darby. And then obviously it could be MJF, but could it be Omega? Are we getting Ospreay Omega? And in that situation, they're laying some foreshadowing, some pieces right now that could make that work in terms of Kenny being a heel for that match, because I don't think you can do that babyface in that situation, looking for the reaction with the finish of that match at Wembley and stuff. But I mean, if we get that match at Wembley, I'm going to be a very happy camper. So
yeah, there's a lot of potential where it could go. Well, let's talk a little bit about Darby Allin for a second. How do we grade his run as champ? I mean, I think he did fantastic. Like,
if you don't have it in the A's, you're nuts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mentioned in the I think it was last week we were talking about it, and I said, man, every week he was defending that belt, sometimes more than once.
Twice a week?
Yeah, it was him usually twice a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a grade, but like better than anybody expected.
Yeah.
He did as well as he could with it, and he made people believe in him. They bought in. It meant more when he did drop it, after having all those wins and stuff. So, obviously, like, I wasn't crazy about it happening. I still don't necessarily have him in that category in terms of like wanting him to hold the belt again. But I think he did a tremendous job.
So where does he go from here?
Little break and then a feud with the Jet.
I mean, you could go 180 with him and have him heel out.
That's not going to work after that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think it definitely should be Kevin Knight. I mean, there's no, like, to have everything that happened that night and a title change in the end and everything, but the last thing you see on that long pay-per-view is Kevin Knight with that UFO splash to the stretcher.
Yeah.
Like, and then dumping the stretcher over like that. You have to follow up on that. And it also, to me, feels too soon to be going right into Kevin Knight versus Speedball. Really looking forward to that, but that's something I feel like you can milk that for a full feud.
So you can, so Darby can take a few weeks off and let Kevin Knight and Speedball go at it because of what happened on Dynamite, obviously.
Yes. The only thing is, I mean, like, I kind of wish, like, the actual maneuver to the stretcher obviously didn't, I mean, like, the stretcher didn't break or anything. And, like, I mean, Darby Allin is this guy who has done, he's dealt with all sorts of falls and things that make you go ouch, and that wasn't necessarily something that you can justify, like, oh, Darby's out for weeks because he got splashed on a stretcher and was still there, and then it just got dumped over.
And
like,
I got rolled over.
That's not what kills Darby Allin in the grand scheme of him jumping off things and whatever the case is. But
I think that doing the storyline of him showing exhaustion and wear and tear and all that will kind of lend to a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
like that's the thing that I think about. That's the kind of thing, like from a booking perspective, and not needing to rush things. But yes, I mean, I think it's. I also like that I like that he wasn't on TV this week, or I guess I should say Wednesday. There's still a live show tonight, but I would be patient with that. That makes sense. You don't need to rush into everything.
Speaking of,
especially because
Darby,
I was just gonna say, because the next pay-per-view is Forbidden Door, and like that's not really something that necessarily needs to follow a lot of these storylines. So your next like true AEW pay-per-view would be, what's the go home pay-per-view for All In was that Redemption in
the new one they announced.
Yeah, the one they just announced.
Yeah, and I mean that's still 2 months away, so you got time to let these things build up.
That's true. I mean, I the only reason I suggested a heel turn is because he could, come out and be pissed off, for losing or whatever. But, you're right. Kevin Knight kind of like started something, and then, I would love to see Speedball and Kevin Knight, and I mean, you could do like 4 or 5 matches with them. I'm sure they'd be fantastic. So,
it does seem. I mean, you gotta have something shocking to pull like a Kevin Knight heel turn, but that's something that I'm gonna wait to assign a grade to the decision on.
Okay.
I mean, it seems kind of soon right now to me to turn him, but I mean, if they're gonna go all in with the turn, then I mean, it's giving him a prominent spot at the end of a major pay-per-view is a really big deal. So at least if they're doing it, they're trying to make it big. So
yeah, if anything, that was the weirdest thing of the whole night on the pay-per-view was just how that ended. It was like they could have just left it. They could have just left it after MJF won. And by the way, MJF with the headlock again, I believe. Headlock
takeover. Yep.
This was so Artiste had alluded to some WWE tribalism early with speaking of the crowd. My favorite moment of WWE tribalism was the end of that match where someone was like, after all that, he loses to a standard top rope pile driver. I'm like,
standard?
Standard? Yeah. Standard top rope pile driver?
It's an outlawed maneuver a lot of places, man. Forever, you never saw a pile driver in WWE. It was
sometimes you give the fans too much, and nothing's going to be enough. I mean, like what else can Darby Allin do at this point?
He jumped off the set, cracked his head open, like
yeah,
it was
standard.
I mean, like he's already kind of like gone as extreme as it can. I mean, he's going to have them like manually construct a Mount Rushmore on top of, or not Mount Rushmore, Jesus, Mount Everest on top of Mount Everest on top of Mount Rushmore, and that's what'll climb next. Just to find things that he can beat that he's already done and already accomplished and already heard from.
Well, I mean, he's definitely got one notch out of the way. So without a doubt, he's A+ for his run, because a lot of people just didn't give it a chance, and it's like all you had to do was watch every week. And this guy, his first defenses was against Brody there, and it was like a guy that's, like I said, 6 times his size. It was a great match, and it's like, so I think that
it's interesting. You measure a championship run by the quality of the matches they had.
Yeah,
his short run there was better than anything that any of the top champions in WWE have done recently.
Like Cody Rhodes wrestles only on pay-per-views, I mean, it's like a lot of their champs never, and then they wrestle on Saturday Night Main Event and get hurt, so it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great run. I think it helped out a lot with all of the challengers that he accepted. I mean, again, like me deep diving too much is like, well, wait a minute. Like, we're going through this whole tournament so somebody can get a title match in 3 months in London. But in the meantime, somebody can get a title match on every Dynamite and Collision right now for the same title. Like, why do you have to go win a tournament and wait all this time? But obviously it's a much bigger stage. But I mean, I really think it helped a lot of his challengers in there. And I mean, thinking of all of them, like the one that comes to mind first is Sammy Guevara, who hasn't been on TV in a long time. They had an awesome showing, as you would expect from those two of the supposed pillars, where, that doesn't necessarily happen for Sammy in a match with somebody else, these days or anytime recently. But every one of his challengers got to shine. All of those matches were at least 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, like, they were good showcases for the rest of the roster, the people that now you can think like, oh, this person might be a contender coming up, or they might win a tournament match or a tournament, whether it's now or Continental Classic or whatever, like people that are on that main event cusp, like Darby was for a while. So I think it really helped elevate a lot of people in a short period of time.
Well, look at Ciampa. Ciampa was his first title defense, and then he comes out and he's throwing himself into another title after this past week. So I mean, and Sammy Guevara. There's a bunch of people that benefited from it, as well as Darby Allin. But now MJF is back champ again. It's interesting that little backstage on this past Wednesday with him and Kevin Knight, and Kevin Knight kind of like saying, "I'm coming for you too," and they started talking about 2 titles or whatever. It's interesting to see where they're going to go. I enjoy. I think a good pay-per-view always leads into good TV, and I think good TV happened this past week as well. It was nice, and I think, like you said, we got 3 hours on Wednesday, and now there's an additional Collision tonight that's live for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think it's very good.
I was surprised by that, but I'm assuming that's because they lost an overall hour last week, so they get it back this week, or got it back on Wednesday. So
yeah. So and everything's live too. So I mean, both Wednesday's live and tonight is live. So
no competition from the NHL and stuff tonight. So
yeah.
Before that,
who do you pick? You got the Vegas, and you got
not the fans.
Out the Carolina.
What a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
What did you say, Mr. Carolina?
Yeah.
I said I think we can just be happy with the fact that Montreal lost, and I would like to think the Sabres would have put up more of a fight.
I can't.
Well, Sabres always won on the road, so
I've hated the Habs my whole life, but I am also ready to see the country of Canada have its drought come to an end, which now continues after 33 years now.
Yeah, well, who's the last?
Who was the last? At the expense of the Sabres?
Was it Montreal that won the last time?
In 1993 against Wayne Gretzky and the Kings. Yes. Yeah, long time ago. The last time a Canadian team won the cup, and it's not happening this year. For me viewing, this is a worst case scenario. Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be a 4-game sweep, and it won't be that bad. No.
I mean, there are people on both teams and in both organizations I appreciate, but I don't want to see either one of these teams win the Stanley Cup. So I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like watching it, because normally at least it's easy enough to find. Like for me, I was all in on cheering Edmonton like the last couple of years. That didn't go well.
But Colorado this year, they looked like.
How about Colorado?
Yeah,
that just hibernated through getting swept by Vegas. Thanks
I was about
so
to
much,
bet my
guys.
$250 bill on Colorado, but I didn't. So
President's Cup champions, and yeah, nice job, guys. Didn't get a single win there against Vegas.
It's tough, I mean,
and then Montreal just got. I mean, that was embarrassing last night.
Yeah,
and that the only reason I kept that game on was because I like to see the handshake at the end of the series, and you knew you were getting the handshake pretty early on last night. So
I was gonna say, both those teams have Buffalo hates in one way or the other. One, Carolina, because the last series, and then of course Vegas because of number one pick.
A lot of things, but a lot of things that all hockey fans agree on. But then for Buffalo specifically, it's Jack Eichel. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Jack Eichel's definitely.
We've already had to see lift the Stanley Cup.
We saw. I remember when they played in Buffalo this year, and he
Would you rather see Eichel lift it twice or Brind'Amour lift it twice?
Brind'Amour.
Yeah.
Brind'Amour. I don't want to be reminded of 2006, because, I mean, that was like my least favorite result as a hockey fan that year, and Brindamore and with his Triple H nose lifting the cup. It's I mean, wasn't my favorites, not my favorite memory, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the predictions are all over the place like that. The same way, like going into this last round in the conference finals, I was like, there's no way that it doesn't end up being Carolina against Colorado. And I was sure wrong. Well, a lot of us were very wrong on that. So I don't even know if I want to make a prediction for the cup, but a lot of people are saying like Vegas in 4, which I think they're underestimating Carolina.
Well, Carolina, Carolina had that long wait for Montreal, and then
And they showed
Yeah.
that in game 1, and that was about it.
And that was it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was 2 sweeps that took place.
Yeah.
Like Carolina drops game 1 and then they win 4 in a row. Vegas wins 4 in a row, and here we are. Like I don't know if either team has an advantage, but I guess the main thing to hope for is that they just immediately start hating each other in game 1 and make this a fun series.
it becomes a brawl every game.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk on hockey Twitter and stuff. Not to like, we'll get off this segue a little bit or this tangent, but there's been a lot of talk about how the NHL went off of the 1 versus 8 for the playoffs and went into these divisional bracket formats and stuff, and how these last 5 years or whatever, like the conference finals have sucked. And a lot of times it ends up with teams that don't really deserve to be in that spot or didn't have a hard enough road to get there. And I think it's fair to say that the conference finals sucked again this year. They really did. They were not competitive, and I would love to go back to 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. I hope that happens someday. I miss those days. I don't think you have to deal with your division for 2 rounds out of 4.
In the olden days, it used to be like the hottest team going into the playoffs could keep being hot a lot of times, and unfortunately, that's Carolina was a hot team going into playoffs. Now, I thought the Sabres were the hottest team, but this obviously ran into another hot team, Montreal. So, it'll be interesting. I mean, I won't really pay much attention. I probably will, but I say I won't. But it was a season. It was and it's like this is not definitely. I believe me, I'd love to have Canada, win one, because it's been such a long time and there's less teams in Canada than there used to be. It seems like every year,
I mean, I would prefer for the Canadian drought to end, and I would prefer for that to end west of Ontario.
Like what?
It's the best scenario for anybody that likes Sabres and stuff. For that, if it were to be the Leafs, the Sens, the Habs, like no thanks. But regardless, I mean, this is the opposite of that. This is a team in a southern touristy city taking on a team that was able to steal themselves away from Hartford. And I don't know, like it's not something that traditional old school hockey fans love when they hear it's Las Vegas, Nevada against Raleigh, North Carolina. But
I know a friend of mine lives down in Raleigh, and it's like they love it. This is the greatest. But they also
if you go back like 20 years on the show or whatever, like there's plenty of things I said like hating on Southern hockey teams, and then of course I went and worked for the second most Southern hockey team in the world. There's a lot I appreciate about it. So like I'm off of that train, but I'm just sick of Vegas as a franchise. Their first 9 years, all the success, but also all of the cap circumventing and everything else. And then Carolina, just holding a grudge still from 20 years later.
Yeah, we've seen a bunch of Southern teams win, like Florida, Tampa.
Florida has been the state of Florida won the last where they were in the last 5 or 6 cup finals and stuff. So it's nice to not see a team from Florida in the final this year. Thank you for bringing up a positive. That makes me feel better about this series.
There we go. My buddy down in Raleigh, it's like they have hockey, but they get 1 inch of snow and the world ends. It's like,
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, again, in Corpus Christi, it's we got a 1/4 of an inch of snow back at that point 24 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, or no, 14 years ago at that point. It's like, oh, okay. So that was like an easy. Oh, that was like the most snow you've had in your life. Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah.
So, okay.
But Raleigh's apparently getting. I think they're getting Duffs too. There's the rumor. So shout out to Raleigh on that.
Yeah.
Well, they got Anchor Bar.
Yeah, right. So they've paid the price, and now they can get rewarded for dealing with that.
They're getting a
with
better
some real wings.
Yeah, they're getting a better place now. It'd be less for people who want to live in Florida to travel up. Instead of going to Buffalo, they can just stop now and get Duffs. And
the only reason I went to Anchor Bar to watch the Sabres was because there was no Duffs.
There is a Duffs in Tampa, just like there is a Duffs in blanking on the Dallas Fort Worth area town. But I used to go there like literally every time we played against a team in Fort Worth. I would drag somebody with me to the Duffs there. That was tradition every time we had a divisional game against the Lone Star Brahmas. So
it's also the favorite beer of Homer Simpson. So I'm just going to throw.
If only we still had a Duffs in Rochester, New York. But
well, it didn't. Yeah,
we've gotten a lot of cool things here, and then didn't support them, and then they were gone. So
yeah, but remember, it was
Taco.
Yeah, it was in the Marketplace Mall, wasn't it? I mean, that's not even a mall anymore. So
no, Anchor Bar was there, so that's fine.
That's
and then they were after that. I think they were on like Easton Alexander or something briefly. I don't know, but no, Duff's was over in that old Friendlies on West Hank Road, as people hate. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. We went there. I remember we got together there one time.
Yeah, when I was accidentally in town once. Oh yeah, when I drove from Chicago to Toronto to see Alexis on Fire play, like 4 nights in a row, and then got an hour outside of Toronto and they canceled. I was like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna go to Rochester for a couple days and then go back to Chicago. Here I am. Let's get some wings. Yeah,
it's interesting because I remember Super Beast was there and your roommate was there, and I remember it was a good. I ate a ton of wings. Okay, let's talk about.
And now it doesn't exist anymore.
It's a shame, I think it's a Chinese food place or something now.
We lost that Duff's. We lost JB Quimby's. I swear to God, Rochester, this is your warning. If you somehow let Windjammers suffer the same fate, I'm coming for all of you with fists of fury. Don't ever let those Harbor wings go.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
One of the best wings.
This has been a public service announcement.
There you go. So let's talk a little bit about
service announcement.
Talk a little bit about WWE for a few minutes here. I want to talk about Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Saturday night's main event was last Saturday. Just nothing really groundbreaking. There was a good match between Penta and Ethan Page. That was good. But unfortunately, Logan Paul tore his tricep on the show, and he's out for 6 months.
I don't ever wish injury on anybody, but I thought you were just saying, unfortunately, Logan Paul, and that was like the end of the sentence. I was like, yeah.
No, but they on Monday Night Raw, they showed the replay of when it happened. It was pretty nasty, but also Saul Ruka got hurt, who supposedly is on this Clash in Italy this weekend, got hurt on the Saturday night's main event as well. And so it was relatively.
Remember the rumors that Fatu got injured in a match?
Oh, it's not rumors. I believe he did. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. That happened in London yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago. WWE's on this 2-week tour right now over in Europe, and they had matches in London. And I guess after Fatu took on Solo Sikoa, he's been seen limping ever since. And so they've got contingency plans in if he can't wrestle tomorrow in this match against Roman Reigns, which they only have 5 matches once again announced for a pay-per-view. So while we're talking about,
hearing that, like it does make me miss watching when I cared to watch WWE when they put out a product that I cared to watch, because I feel like I am missing out on some main event. Jacob Fatu is definitely a good thing in my book. So
Jacob Fatu he's awesome. I mean, it's a shame because right now him and Reigns are going head to head, but the crowd doesn't know who to boo or who to cheer for. It's because both of them are doing heel stuff. I mean, they were cheering Fatu heavily, before this, and it's like they were cheering Reigns before this, and now it's kind of nobody's pulled a heel move against each other except for that Fatu used the Tongan death grip or whatever against Roman Reigns, and you never use that against family, according to Roman Reigns, and or to the maybe it's the Usos who said that, and it's like and so they're going to have this tribal combat match at the pay-per-view tomorrow. What does it mean? I don't know, but it's for the world heavyweight champion. Jacob Fatu already lost clean to Roman Reigns in the last pay-per-view. I don't know if it's, I assume that if the heel move's going to happen, it will happen at this match because the folks are confused in the crowd. I mean, it's like they're cheering for everyone. And then it's like when they're cutting promos against each other, they're cheering for everyone, but it's like they're insinuating you should be booing one of them or the other, but it's like nobody's, it's kind of weird having the fans confused because it's like it's the worst thing about tweener matches, and it's like because everyone Fatu has been super over right up till WrestleMania, and I don't know where it's going, but let me go through the matches real quick. So that's one of them. We got Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar retired, but he didn't. Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca. I don't know if this is going to happen. Sol Ruca won the last on Saturday night's main event. But she got hurt also. Rhea Ripley's taking on Jade Cargill for the women's championship, and Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the undisputed championship. This is 5 matches on the pay-per-view tomorrow. It's going to be at 2 p.m. They'll probably be done by 4:30, probably, maybe earlier. It's interesting because Cody Rhodes is trying to sell it in interviews by saying that this is the new number 4 of the big 4, and they're going to get in Survivor Series is no longer in that position.
Clash in Italy?
Yeah.
I don't think like a one-time thing. No,
they just change it to Clash in wherever in Europe they want to have it.
Yeah, I don't know. He said that, and it's like I think he's just trying to sell a pay-per-view, but it's like if you have the ESPN app, you don't got to buy it. But it's just interviews.
Sounds like one of those things Cardona always points out as a Cody lie, but
a Cody lie.
Yeah.
Poor Cardona, man. He, it's like so many people have said, he finally gave up all his independent stuff, and now all he does is lose every week on TV. And then he lost his Sami Zayn last night on SmackDown, and it's like he kind of posted pictures and he goes, "Isn't it a shame that I signed with them?" It's like I think he takes it as a point of pride. Yeah, he's on TV every week.
Making that money, he's touring, he's on the same show as his wife, right? He's doing well.
His wife got a win over what's her name last night? Yeah, Nia Jax last night. And Nia Jax, by the way,
I didn't realize Chelsea was healthy already. That's good.
Yeah, she is. And Nia Jax dropped a ton of weight, so she looks a little bit different now. She's kind of like slimmed down a bit. So it was a surprise, first of all, but it was like one of the main events on last night's show. So, I don't know. I'm a fan of Matt Cardona. He's like I said, he's kind of like, tongue in cheek saying, "Look I'm a screw up. I signed in. All I do is get on TV every week." And, he's not on the pay-per-view or anything, but he did survive the cuts. There we go. Matt Cardona,
former ESW champion.
Yeah. I remember
one of these in existence.
I saw him in Rochester when he wrestled in the for GCW. So he was, he's I'm a big fan. I like Matt a lot. And it's like, and you know what, maybe it'll wear on him after a while, after he just keeps losing to everybody on TV every week. But right now he's accepting it, and he's also, making money.
He worked so hard to get back there. I would love to see him get more success there, but I think everybody seems to be very happy that he's there, and I mean a bunch of the others, but especially like Danhausen as well, who's just constantly popping up on every social media feed, and I'm always happy about that. So
yeah, and Danhausen, he looks like he might be an avenue for someone returning to WWE too, because he's been building a monster in his. They've been doing this bit for a couple of weeks now, where he's like he's a scientist, and he's creating a tag team partner who's going to be a very big man, and it's kind of I thought that they were leading up to Big Bill coming over there, and it could still be the case. I don't know, but there's been a lot of hot rumors about Big Bill, and
I saw the one clip, which maybe that was before the match he had with the mini Danhausen or whatever. But the I don't know. I figured it was leading to Danhausen and Stefan Urkel.
Well,
For
yeah,
anybody that actually gets that reference,
yes,
I'm
yes.
sure plenty don't.
Well, the
Shame on you if you don't.
interesting thing is that he had a power out when he was creating his partner, and that's why all the little mini Danhausens popped out because it didn't. And so now he's trying to create a bigger partner, and I like the mini Danhausens though. Don't get me wrong, but he's
I was
one of
always
the
a big fan of the regional Danhausens on the Indies. So,
well, I saw a picture of a certain Jericho dressed up as Danhausen on the Jericho Cruise,
yeah.
Cruise or whatever they called it, and they, the only bad thing about Danhausen now is he's not out in the crowd. They're only doing all the backstage stuff, so he's not. I'm guessing he's probably warming everybody up before the night starts, and then they send him in the back and have these taped, interviews or whatever, because it's like it's going to be the Miz and Kit Wilson versus him and whoever he creates in his clone machine. That was a clone machine originally, and that the power went out, so he got the mini clones coming out, but now it's like he's creating a bigger one. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure they've got it written down, but I just feel bad because he's not out in the crowd now. He hasn't been out in the crowd in a couple weeks now, at least on TV. So you don't get the craziness, the fan, I did see though a couple of fans dressed up like him in the crowd, but we'll see where it goes with that. I mean, it could be like the end of Danhausen if they just keep not keeping him off, out in the crowd.
He's one of their top 1, 2, 3 merch sellers.
Yeah, he's selling the merch
right now without actually doing much on the show. So I mean, he's set there. I like that they're letting him do his thing. It seems. It does. I mean, there are obviously some things they kind of added to the Danhausen gimmick early on that were a little more sing-songy or whatever, like things they want to catch on. But he's not sitting at home, so it's a big improvement from where he was before.
That's true, and I hope they're not selling like teeth or anything in a jar at merch for him.
Not yet.
Not yet, but they do have the masks though, so they're out and about. So kudos to Danhausen. If you say it's like he's another guy that I saw at GCW in Rochester.
Teamed with Nick Gage. Can't remember who they faced, but I think it was Violence is Forever. That first show in Rochester, yeah.
He was
time for another show here. Was that February was the last one? But
yeah, what's going on? You hear anything?
Hopefully it'll be soon. I was hoping like there's a weekend in July where it's Hartford and the debut in New Hampshire in Manchester. I was hoping that maybe we get added on to that weekend. I don't think that's happening. So not sure. Honestly, not sure yet. But I would have to assume by July or August or even September, I would think it would happen again. So,
okay, cool. Well, looking forward to it. I mean,
there's a lot. I mean, it's a very packed schedule coming up, but there's some new states and craziness added in and all that. So,
you would be the person to know. That's for sure, right?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I gotta hop on that jet to Milan, Italy tonight for the show that definitely didn't already happen.
Yeah, I heard that Santino
definitely didn't
Marella
record the voiceover for it yesterday. So
I just say I heard Santino Marella might be with you when you go to Milan, so beware. No. Okay, so I'm gonna get some news, because we talked about pretty much everything I was going to go through. So tonight, if you're going to watch Collision, you got Takeshita versus Daniel Garcia for the AEW International Championship.
Granted, I mean that always is the case, but that came out of nowhere. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, thank you!" Like, I cannot wait for that. Especially, I mean, it seems random, but it's been a while since they've let Garcia have like a good singles match in a prominent spot or whatever, as opposed to just being one of the Death Rider lackeys or whatever. So I'm very happy that match is happening.
He held this title before too, right? Is this the one?
Not that one? The
no,
TNT.
Okay, okay. We're gonna have the status of the TBS Championship will be addressed, and according to that, there might be a match on the show that will have something to do with that. But got Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly versus Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, and Lance Archer for the AEW Trios titles. Megan Bain, Lena Cross versus Anna Jay, Ty Mello in a 5-minute eliminator challenge, which
So the
we
first time that the 5 minutes is met by the challengers, I would assume,
maybe
or the opponents. I guess they're not really challengers.
What was it? What was it on the pre-show? 2.5 minutes. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't very long. I know that.
Very long.
Yeah.
Didn't they get to like 4 or something? That was the Maya World and High-End, or no? I don't know.
I thought that went like 2.5.
Oh, you know what? It says 4:46, so it was closer than I
Yeah, it
thought.
was close.
I thought it was over. So, okay, we got Hazuki versus Maya World and Persephone on commentary. So, Hazuki new signee, right? I believe.
No, she's in for the Owen and presumably Forbidden Door as well.
Yeah.
So just kind of showcasing her, but and then giving Persephone a chance to do a little work on commentary while she's still recovering from something, but she's in that tournament. So
okay, so we got the dogs, David Finlay, Clark Connors versus Austin and Colton Gunn.
Glad to see the Guns back.
John Moxley and Pac versus the infantry, Carly Bravo and Sean Dean.
Next.
ROH Pure Champion Lee Moriarty's in action. And it's going to be live from Huntsville, Alabama at the Von Hunt Center.
Like, the infantry and Lee Moriarty are all in the same stable. Like, can't we give Lee Moriarty the real match? He's just 100 times better than the other two. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, Lee's been around for a while too. So mentioned this a minute ago. Potential injury to Jacob Fatu has been reported. Reportedly created some concern within WWE just days before tomorrow's clash in Italy. Reports circulated on Thursday that Fatu was seen limping around after his match with Solo Sikoa at the WWE live event in Liverpool, England. The injury is legit, and WWE is monitoring the situation closely ahead of this weekend's premium live event. I don't know what they would do if he wasn't available to take on Roman Reigns in the tribal combat match, but
yeah, it's tribal combat. I feel like if it's like a small injury, like it's very easy to hide it in a match like that.
Yeah, he'll come out.
It's going to be more a brawl and less an actual wrestling match.
That's true. That's true. It's going to end with the Tongan death grip or something like that. So, one thing WWE announced recently that the WWE King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournament, they've announced it's starting, and they've already have 2 names who are thrown into it on last night's SmackDown. We've got Trick Williams going into the King of the Ring and JC Jane into the Queen of the Ring. And they announced that the winners of the King and Queen of the Ring will get title matches at WWE SummerSlam. Now, I think they did this last year, but I can't remember. I don't remember. I know that the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring really used to not get anything after winning it. You know, they just got crowned or whatever, and that was it. And they would walk around with a crown for the next year on TV.
You had to adopt a king gimmick.
Yeah, King Booker. All right, but
King Corbin.
Yeah, King Corbin. So, they now the winners of this get a title shot at SummerSlam, the 2-day event that's going to be taking place in Minnesota this year. And I don't know how you're going to turn that into 2 days, but if you do 5 matches on each, there you go. You can
1 match on Saturday, 1 match on Sunday.
Yes.
Thanks for your ticket money.
Thank you. Yeah. So I mentioned earlier, Logan Paul suffered a torn tricep on this past week and he's a tag champ and WWE tag team champ. So what they're going to do is Braun Breaker. They explained it this past week that because of it's the team is the champions. It's not the individual person. So now Braun Breaker will be taking his spot as part of the Vision and will be now a tag team champion.
Doing the Freebird rule.
Yeah, it's a Freebird rule. It's legit. You know, it's been forever. This past week, if you watch AAA, I don't really watch much of it, but it is on WWE's YouTube. And so WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio was announced as the new general manager. I'm not even sure who the old general. I think it was The Undertaker, but I can't remember. But now Rey Mysterio is now overseeing. He's the, I don't know, whatever a general manager does in wrestling. I think, you don't always need one. I mean, AEW doesn't have one. So, but they need it, I guess, in AAA. Plus, his cred on his name helps with AAA to get more people. It's like, oh, I watch AAA because Ray's on it, or someone I know from WWE because I think really how they try to get people in the United States to watch these pay-per-view events is because I don't think the lizard guy is getting over too much. What was his name again?
Iguana.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He got over enough to be in the Royal Rumble. I guess that was okay. Moving on to some other news. Nikki Bella, yes, she's been hurt for a while. That's why Paige is back, I guess. But she's scheduled to appear in coming up in the next 2 weeks, the Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, which she'll be one of the people in the show, obviously hosted by Ryan Seacrest and Vanna White. And you can catch that, I think, on primetime TV. But she can't wrestle, but she can go on Wheel of Fortune. So I hope she doesn't embarrass herself.
I mean, nothing would be worse than when Becky Lynch was on Jeopardy.
Oh, that was bad.
Woof, that was a bad showing. At least she can joke about it.
Yeah, she can, because she did she got 0, I think,
Yeah, I think.
I don't think she was
something
allowed
like that. It was bad.
Yeah. She had money at one time, but she kept losing it. So she kept going into the negative. So I don't know if you know this company, Progressive Wrestling, but it was bought out this past week by Nikki Cross and Big Damo, or formerly Killian Dane. They acquired the independent promotion and their co-owners and co-ownership of Defy Wrestling Promotions. Do you know, Rob, much about Defy?
Yeah. So Progress is London based, and then Defy is Seattle based. Two of the top indies in the world there. So pretty big deal to have those names. I feel like Defy had kind of slowed down a little bit in terms of their frequency of shows as of late. But that's a place where a lot of big names have come through and worked there. Swerve was a big part of that company for a while. And Progress is one of the top ones in all of Europe, really. So interested to see what they do with them.
Well, that's what Nikki Cross did after being released, apparently, is went out and bought a company. So that's pretty cool. Saved all that money.
I always kind of question when people buy out indie companies, like, why don't you just start your own? But this is like the one circumstance where it's like, okay, both these companies have names within the indie community and everything, the wrestling world. So it makes more sense in this situation.
So AEW announced this past week about new pay-per-view Redemption. This is official now. We've talked about it a couple times, but it's going to be Sunday, July 26th in Montreal, Quebec at the Bell Center.
Centre Bell.
Not far from here, I mean,
if you're going up there, make sure you take a look at which days the best croissants bakery in the world is open, because you're not going to get it on Sunday. But
it's a Sunday with the pay-per-view. So
I'm glad they're adding a pay-per-view in that. I remember like that was a long wait to get to All In previously or whatever. So it makes sense to add something there in July. So
yeah, definitely, without a doubt. So so something that has the fans buzzing a little bit. Trick Williams has forged a new connection in the entertainment world by teaming up with none other than the rap superstar Soulja Boy. The two lined up. Yeah,
he's still relevant.
I have no idea.
I figured he already told everybody. I
don't know. Zing! I get you. All right. They linked up at Collecticon, where the meeting was captured in a brief but impactful video shared by WWE on Twitter. He's hooking up with everybody. So Trick Williams, it's funny if you watch last night's SmackDown, I feel bad for Trick because he had like a whole promo memorized, obviously, and then when he went out and the crowd was completely not compliant with what they were doing last night because they were not in the United States. And
those European crowds can be very loud.
Yeah,
they can be overpowering when you're trying to commentate shows and stuff as well.
Yeah. So so what happened was he ended up repeating a line that he had said earlier, obviously. And so that got Carmelo Hayes kind of pointed out, didn't you say that already or something? It was like, so I thought that was interesting last night. I felt bad for him because Trick Williams is so new to this still. There's so many new people that are up on WWE right now that really haven't been seasoned by the crowd yet, and that's probably why they're doing all this touring this summer, all the quote unquote live events. is so that these guys can work in front of people and not have things like that happen where he had to stop. And then he said the same line twice. I mean, it was like a minute later though. It was like, he goes, didn't you say that already? It's like, oh my God, felt bad for him. But, I do like Trick Williams a lot. He's a former football player, and he got fast tracked to WWE. He really was like Carmelo Hayes's bouncer for a while down in NXT. Well, kudos to him. It wasn't that bad, but I'm sure he got reamed by it out when he came in the back after. It's like, but the crowd really was not cooperating last night at all with any of the stuff people were doing, because they were booing the people you should cheer and cheering the people you should boo. And so it kind of makes it, it makes like Cody Rhodes, he knows how to like react to the crowd. And if they're booing him, then he could play it up a little bit, but he still trying to put the face on, and they were cheering Gunther, and I don't know. It just was a weird show last night. Those European crowds will do that. Instead of singing Randy Orton's theme for 5 minutes, which is usually, they were just trying to confuse, and they were doing soccer chants too during the game too. The they were doing all that stuff.
That show, like specifically last night, like some of the crowd in Pop Home in northern France was so loud the entire night. They did not, crowd was huge. They were packed in there and they were chanting the whole night. But it was an instance where I guess I thought that like these WWE shows, they do a little bit better job of like chanting things that we would understand over here. There were some chants last night. I have no idea what they were chanting, but good on them for making some noise.
The crowd's into it. Yes, they are.
Another night where I regretted not taking French in school. That was a mistake. Just like every time I try to go up to Montreal and don't know, just get the menu at the restaurant and be like, chicken tenders, thanks. Yeah.
Mac and cheese, where's that? Mac and fromage. There, I know one French word.
I did learn one French phrase that I threw in fromage on the sign off, but yeah.
Yeah,
on the week was good night. Yeah, I learned that. So
I gotcha.
I think I say ciao tonight, and that's it for my Italian. So, yeah.
So Taylor Rotundo, might remember him as Uncle Howdy, is officially set to make his first public appearance since parting ways with WWE earlier this year. A new announcement released for the Gathering of Seven convention revealed that the former WWE performer from the Wyatt Six storyline will be appearing at the event in Charlotte, North Carolina. Later this summer. The event takes place July 22nd through the 26th at the Hilton University Place in Charlotte, with Rotundo scheduled to appear on Friday and Saturday as part of the 1-2-3 talent guest lineup. Rotundo will be signing autographs, taking photos with fans, and participating in the convention's pro photo schedule during his appearance. And additional details that is already generating buzz amongst fans, the Uncle Howdy mask will reportedly be included in the photo opportunities. The announcement notes that Rotundo may either wear the mask himself during photos or allow fans to hold it in the photo ops. The appearance marks the first advertised convention booking for Rotundo since his WWE release, and comes after his recent run portraying obviously the eerie Uncle Howdy character as part of the Wyatt Six faction in WWE. So looks like it's good to see some of these people that were cut are now being able to go out and make some money. Cause it's, they have to wait out that 90-day, whatever it is, before they can even wrestle again. But you can do these conventions, and there's so many of them out there, that you can make some money at. Kevin Nash was at the Red Wings game this past Thursday night. I saw some pictures. It's funny is that I don't think they realize that when you're doing interviews on the infield or whatever, that nobody can understand what they're saying the entire time. So you're just, all it looks like is you're just moving your mouth, and they're moving their mouth, and you're moving your mouth, but it's absolutely inaudible in the stadium. So maybe there'd be a better way to do that. Maybe you pre-record it and put it up on the scoreboard or something. I don't know, but yeah, it was good.
It's still the speakers. I don't think there's much they can do aside from getting new sound equipment. But
yeah. I was going to say, I saw my friend Art Bailey and JC Money brawling with Spikes. That was some fun stuff that was going on. So it was pro wrestling night, a very sparse crowd after they did a quick shot of the crowd. But it's great they acknowledge it and everything. And, kudos to the Red Wings. And it's nice to bring Kevin Nash to town. He was very friendly. He was very nice. I know a friend of mine had a super shredder pop figure, and he got him to sign it for him. So
We were talking about this in the last week or so here. Like, of the names, like, I don't know anybody who's. I mean, Kevin Nash, like, he could be grumpy a little bit once in a while, but like, I don't know anybody who has a bad thing to say about like working a show with him or anything. Like, he's always been a gem, very, very as real as it gets in terms of people in wrestling, because he was there to make his money, and he did, and he doesn't shy away from. Yeah, I mean, he calls out stuff from his good friend Paul's company all the time now too.
Oh yeah.
So I appreciate that from him.
I will, it's funny, as I posted a picture on my Facebook page of when we met him in 1999. And at that time, we didn't realize when we were interviewing him that he was booking WCW at the time. And he told us that in the interview. He's like, I was given the book, and it was like, and so, man, how often are you going to get a chance to interview the guy who's booking a major company? And it just didn't dawn on me when we were talking with him. It's like, my God, it's like, because we never know who's booking. Half the time it's a committee, but he was given it, and he's like the one who, stopped the Goldberg streak and everything. So, by booking it that way. So so I was like, I said, I have nothing but good things to say about Kevin Nash. Also, he's the one who told Hulk Hogan about us, I believe. Didn't someone told me that? Someone, was it Rob? When you met Hulk Hogan, did he say Kevin Nash told him about the radio show or something? I'm trying to remember who.
Maybe I don't remember.
It was a long time ago. I
don't know what I made for dinner last night. Yeah.
Well, I know that Kevin Nash. I had heard that Kevin Nash had told Hulk Hogan about the radio show. Someone had told me that. Mm-hmm. So he knew about us and stuff. But Kevin Nash was, just a good. I mean, yes, he may have been selfish and made a lot of money and was smart about protecting himself, but he also you're right. He calls out when he sees stuff that's not right. I mean, I think he was one of the people that applauded Mick Foley for coming over to AEW, because of, Mick Foley, he doesn't lie. When he says he's not going to support someone who's supporting someone he doesn't support, he doesn't. He gave up a lot of money. He let the Legends contract get, run out, and now he works for AEW, and maybe we'll see more of him in AEW after this pay-per-view. I thought he did a great job. It was nice to see him actually be a fan, because he was a fan when they brought him in the ring on that pre-show.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
He goes, I
was shocked when he said the one thing to Max about like, I didn't think I was ever going to have this moment again. So let me just like let this sink in for a moment. Like saying that to like the most cocky heel in wrestling or whatever. But it was really cool. It was very genuine. So I thought that was to me, he looked and sounded and talked better than I ever expected, to be honest. So I really enjoyed that segment.
Yeah, definitely. And and he's Mick Foley. And I mean, and he looked good, and he got kicked in the nuts. So there you go. Yeah.
Still don't want to see him wrestle. Don't know if we will, but
probably not. I mean,
who knows?
Yeah.
Stranger things
never say never
in professional wrestling.
Yeah. So so some other news. Joe Henning, the son of Kurt Henning, was arrested on May 17th following an incident in a McDonald's drive-thru in St. Francis, Minnesota. Henning, who wrestled,
lied and said that the ice cream machine was off or broken or something.
Oh, I remember. There was a wrestler who got arrested for throwing a giant rock through a McDonald's window once. So McDonald's seems to have a aura about it. But Henning, who wrestled as Curtis Axel and Mike McGillicuddy, yeah, you never forget that one, allegedly put his car in reverse and backed into another vehicle. He refused a chemical test and had to be physically removed from his vehicle. And he was charged with third-degree driving while impaired after he refused to submit to a chemical test. So remember that, folks. If you are asked to do a DWI test and you refuse it, you're automatically guilty. That's what they're saying here. He's also charged with DWI because he refused. Obstructing legal process, they call it, and he had an open bottle of alcohol, and if that will certainly get you in trouble too.
And I don't know if you need any more evidence than his mugshot.
I know he looked like he was a mess. He definitely did. So, honestly, listen. I'm a big fan of Mr. Perfect, and it's like it's a shame, it's great to be get in the wrestling business, but when you have to follow suit with like some of these with like the history of your family, it just puts so much more pressure on you as a wrestler. And I'm not giving him an excuse or anything, but it's probably why he's not in the business anymore. So, and plus WWE giving him weird names and everything. And then, his best run was when he was part of Randy Orton's group, I think. And they were like, I can't remember what they were called. It was him. I think Cody Rhodes was part of it too. And Randy
Legacy.
Orton. Legacy. That's what it was. Yeah. I thought that was probably his best run. So, some other news, Bryan Danielson may no longer be competing regularly inside the ring, but the former world champion is still making an impact behind the scenes. It came out in the Bella podcast this past week that he is training Bria training Nikki to get back in the ring following her injury. Danielson has taken on the role of coach throughout her return. She credits him with helping elevate her performance. Brie also was trained, has been warming up training with Bryan Danielson as well. So I know he works for another company, but that's his family. I guess, they're probably not going to give too much grief about it, but I'd like to see him in the ring again. I mean, he's kind of been AWOL for a while from AEW. Whenever they need an emergency announcer, he's there. But I'm guessing he's probably backstage or whatever. I mean, I know that he's got Tony Khan's ear when it comes to like booking the shows and things like that. So he's definitely an asset to the company. So I kind of hinted at this a few times on the show so far today, but a familiar face from WWE's past was reportedly discussed internally for a special appearance at this weekend's International Premium Live event. There was said to be a pitch within WWE Creative for former WWE Intercontinental Champion Santino Marella to appear at WWE's Clash in Italy this Sunday, in Turin, Italy. So it remains
also
unclear.
former Miss WrestleMania.
That's right, former Miss Wrestling. Oh, that was one of the worst things ever. You have a women's match and you have a guy dressed up as a woman win it. It's just terrible. It remains unclear how far the idea progressed, and there's currently no indication that the appearance was officially approved. Morella is currently signed with TNA Wrestling, where he serves as the on-screen authority figure. But he did wrestle this past week, I believe. So I still watch TNA. It's still now that it's easier to watch because it's on AMC now. But who knows? Just keep your eyes open. You might see him on the pay-per-view this weekend, or the Premium Live event from Italy. One last piece of news, and we'll get out of here. Samoa Joe appeared to be headed back to Hollywood for another major project during Wednesday night's special 3-hour episode of Dynamite from Philly, which, man, they're taking some shots at Philly teams. Some people were, at least,
That's fine. They didn't take any shots at Temple, so it was fine.
Joe appeared in a backstage segment alongside the Ops and revealed that he'll be taking an extended hiatus from AEW programming. He informed the group that he would be stepping away for a few months, while also making it clear that he expects everything to stay under control during his absence. He told the faction to keep things in order until he returns. The segment immediately sparked speculation amongst fans regarding the reason behind Joe's upcoming break. Joe is a regular cast member on Peacock's hit series Twisted Metal, which is expected to begin filming its 3rd season in Canada in the near future. That project is believed to be likely the reason for his temporary departure from AEW. So, and it just seems like he just did that too. But I mean, he's gotten some Hollywood looks now that he's been in something. And so maybe it could be something else. I don't know, but for now,
He's been back for like 2 or 3 weeks, and now he's going away again.
Yeah, unfortunately. I know he just came back, didn't he? It's like, so once again, we'll be trading the wrestling ring for Hollywood. So we will see, I don't know when we'll see him again, but they did okay without him. It's like, you can let Taz's little boy, and then you have him come back and have Hook versus Joe for leadership or something. You could like build an angle out of it. I thought they would have done that the first time, but I'm guessing he hasn't been back long enough for that to happen. So, but that's about it for the news and everything. Is there anything else going on that I missed out on? Trying to think.
Disappointed that Statlander and Sheeta didn't battle out on the streets of Philly in their Philly street fight.
Oh yeah,
my old house is only like a block and a half from there. There's so many things I could have suggested for that street fight. No, I mean, yeah, GCW live in Milan tonight, 8:00 Eastern on Triller TV Plus. Fun show. And yeah, I think we may be making there's some announcements for the next ESW show that have been in the can, so to speak. That show is 2 months from tomorrow. But I think we're going to put out some of that today or tomorrow. So some of the featured name appearances, I'm really looking forward to this show. So
Very cool. I just want to give people a heads up. I'm going to be out of the country as of Thursday next week. So we probably won't have a show next week. Okay. I'm just going to throw that out there. I hate to not do a show, but I'm going to be doing the WFTDA. That's the governing body of women's flat track roller derby playoffs in Waterloo, Ontario. And
oh, good old Waterloo, the other Waterloo. Yes.
yeah, I think it's right next to Guelph.
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 Yes, it is. Yes, it's Guelph's not a bad town. Some nice little spots on their tiny downtown, but yeah, Waterloo's what, like just southwest of Guelph.
Yeah, so I'm going to be there from Thursday to Sunday, late Sunday. So we're most likely
Not a bad time of year. Just keep going from there. Go up to Owen Sound or Osage Beach.
Yeah. I'm trapped there for a while, but it's like I've been there before for a very short tournament, but this is going to be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal. So, and on Wednesday I would say we could tape on Wednesday, but I'm going to a concert at Darien Lake. I'm going to see Triumph, which is a Canadian band, and April Wine.
I thought you were going to say Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog.
Insult Comic Dog, yeah.
Why did nobody tell me about this?
I will poop on you.
I would absolutely go see Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog.
Not at Darien Lake though. It's like way too big to see a comedian, but yeah, so I'm going to be tied up for a bit this next week. So we won't probably have a show unless I can like get back early enough Sunday, but I won't have time to gather information and stuff like that. So we'll just take a week off. I haven't done that in a long time. So, it'd be nice to, get a little refresh, and then we'll be back let's see, 13th Flag Day. No. Yeah. It would be Flag Day. So, hey, so we'll,
it's going to be an interesting weekend.
We got roller derby that weekend too. That 13th is roller derby too.
The new TKO Endeavor, whatever investor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have that. We have that TKO show at the White House. Is it the 6th?
No,
I think it is. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm tied up with roller derby stuff. So on that note, we're gonna say goodbye for a couple weeks. Enjoy. This is our summer vacation. We get 1 week off and then we'll be back. So, but thank you, Rob. Thank you, DC, and thank you guys in the chat room. We appreciate it. And
enjoy your Swiss chalet in Canada.
Yeah, I will. Yes.
Sure, I can give you a million other suggestions. So.
I wonder if I'll have time to eat. That's what, I'll find time, but it's like, I've been to the place where it is before, and you know what it smells like? It smells like hockey. You know how like the sweaty equipment hockey. So
there are some different hockey smells out there. A cold, quiet, peaceful rink in the morning, that the smell of that when you're like the only one sitting there is just, it's unmatched.
Yeah, that's great. It's just the locker
equipment, not so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So on that note, we're going to say you guys have a great week. We'll see you soon, 2 weeks from today, and body slam someone you love.